There's an old saying, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. But if you dodge a truck, can you dodge a punch? Hola everyone, and welcome to the House of Ippo. Chapter 1323 has officially dropped, which means that I am only relatively excited to talk about it after the week break that we had. Now, at the very end of 1322, Yagi was receiving a phone call and he looked shocked, almost aghast at what had happened, and we pick up right to the cause of that phone call. Right in front of Takamura, a child chases a ball that he's been playing with into an intersection with a car, a truck. It kind of looks like an Escalade coming at the junction, and the brakes don't work. Takamura grabs the child, and that is the last that we see. He is staring down the barrel of a loaded car. Now, we've seen him take on a bear and huge opponents, but this is something that he can't physically beat. But we have a location change to a hospital. And Ippo asks, where do I go? And Yagi responds with, to the emergency room. Ippo, this entire time, thinks to himself, Takamura, Takamura, Takamura. And we just see Takamura going, yo. Yagi is super relieved because he says, you are safe. And Ippo's like, thank God. Takamura says, don't shout so loud. The kid I saved is being treated. Now, this is kind of one thing that I think is really interesting. As much of a douche canoe as Takamura can be in the ring and to his, his equals, his peers, he's actually generally not that bad of a person to kids. He's a little weird, like he doesn't know how to interact with them, but he does kind of treat them a little bit differently than he treats adults, and we kind of get to see this here. Now, we kind of change to Itagaki asking, wait, Takamura helped the child? How in the world did that happen? Dio basically says he stepped, jumped onto the hood, jumped over it, and he landed successfully. And Aoki goes, it's no longer human athletic ability. Takamura is just a monkey. And Kimura says, if the landing went well, why did he have to go to the hospital? And Ippo says, well, when he landed, he held the kid in his arms and put so much pressure on them that he, cracked a rib. He saved the kid from being hit by a car. Now, if we go by Yu Yu Hakusho standards, the kid probably would have been safe because he would have turned around, bounced off the ball, and gotten barely a scratch. Takamura almost killed a small child because of how much he tried to save them. And Aoki responds with a gorilla. And Kimura goes, well, I'm glad that everyone's okay, that we're all doing fine. We're getting to see this. However, Takamura starts working hard at sparring, but he's sluggish and he gets hit decently by blows. And Ippo notices this and asks, is this what happened when you stepped on the hood? And Takamura says, don't tell the old man. It's nothing. And Ippo goes, dude, I've noticed. And as a second, it's almost his responsibility, his duty to tell the other seconds that their boxer is injured, that they may need to rethink the bout that is about to happen. And Takamura responds with, I've moved up to the super middle. Even though I've lost less weight, I'm still slower. I'm a little bit heavy. And Takamura kind of also brushes it off and says, it's going to be healed by the time of the match. And thankfully, it's not an axial leg. To me, that means it's not a pivot leg. It's not a very important leg when it comes to shocks. When you're boxing, you have one leg up front, one leg in back. I'm not sure which one's the axial. I would assume it's his back leg. So in Takamura's case, since I think he's a right-handed fighter, it would be his right leg being the axial one, meaning that he hurt his left. He says, don't worry about it. And Ippo kind of says, yes, but he thinks to himself, the closer that we get to the match, the worse and worse everything seems to be stacking up against us. Things seem to be going very, very wrong. And Takamura says, we kind of get another funny laugh at Takamura going, oh, yeah, I found a lot of this stuff in my pocket. I was surprised to see how much it fell out. But here it is. And Ippo goes, basically, this is the remains of the dummy. Well, you protected him. Thank you. It's a blessing. And we open up to the next morning with Takamura thinking, it's not like there's no weight loss. You have to move your body. And what that means is his leg is still hurt, but he's needing to lose some weight. Not as Not as much as he has in the past because he's much closer to his natural, I think, 200-pound body weight, but he's still having to drop a decent amount. For those of you that have never cut, it is a really intense process, especially for a boxer trying to make weight, because they don't want to lose strength while they're doing this. They're just trying to basically hone their body down as tight as they can and get as close to a low body fat and a low water weight as they can to make weight for the matches. And we kind of up here with Ippo, and he says, I was told to chaperone, and I didn't want you to be reckless. Takamura goes, it's just a walk. We're just going for a walk. And as they say this, a flower pot fell from somewhere overhead, again, coming from the apartments, and it is about to hit Takamura in the skull. Now, that is how we end this 15-page chapter. There are a few things of note to pick up on. Like I said at the very beginning, one, Takamura really doesn't hate children. He just doesn't know how to interact with them. That's why saving the kid, he was able to jump over a frickin' car. Like, that's insane. He is an athletic monster when it comes down to it. But he did end up hurting the kid, which is why he ended up in the emergency room. But what Ippo said is kind of true. The closer that we get to the match, it seems like the more unlucky that Takamura is getting. Almost like his luck is being siphoned off of him. And I think we're going to start to see gags of him getting closer and closer to being injured. And it may end up being that that's almost the idea of the match. That to become a monster, it takes, it takes courage, it takes a ferocity, it takes technique, and it takes a little bit of luck to become a champion. Something that we've touched on before, and I think that we're getting to kind of see this come to fruition. We're seeing that luck does play a part in being a boxer. It plays a part in every sport, If the temperature fluctuates one day, you might sweat a little bit more, meaning that you might lose a little bit more weight and miss something that you're going to do. Or you could bloat up, your hands could become swelled, you might not be able to hold on to what you're doing. Luck is the name of the game when it comes to being a world champion and a world-class athlete. Because some days you are just unlucky and things happen, and they may be leading us up to this point with Takamura. But the most important thing that I really do want to touch on right here is that Takamura doesn't want to tell the old man. He doesn't want to give the old man a reason to worry and a reason to cancel the match. And I think that's pretty telling. It means that he is worried about the old man's health, and Takamura is not entirely sure how much longer Kamigawa is going to be able to hold on. And it's going to be interesting to see how we progress the story from here. Whether or not Takamura and Ippo will be able to bond over their mutual love of the coach, I don't know. But what did you think of this chapter? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Hajime no Ippo related content, especially chapter 1324. And for everyone new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohili, and I'll see you next video.